everyone's talking about AI automation on Shopify, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Set it and forget it. One viral video just crossed 13 million views with people claiming their store runs itself, all by itself, while they sleep or they go and sip drinks on a beach. And I get why that's tempting. Ad costs are up, margins are very tight, teams are expensive. Burnout is absolutely real. And AI promises fewer employees, faster operations, 24/7 automation, and hands-off scaling. Here's the part that they do not tell you. No one tells you. If AI automation really replaced e-commerce teams overnight, I'd be out of a job. Instead, what I'm seeing is Shopify stores stacking AI tools on top of broken processes. And they call that innovation. And their costs quietly rise and rise and rise, and the control of their store slips away. So why is my phone ringing off the hook with real store owners messaging me, all of them asking, hey, Wayne, this AI stuff is costing me more than it's saving me? Today, on Straight Talk Commerce, we're breaking down why Shopify stores are switching to AI automation, what actually works, what's pure hype, and the hidden costs, limitations, and over expectation that never make it into the YouTube thumbnail. No fantasy dashboards. No set it and forget it. Learn the truth behind AI automation before it automates you right out of your profits. We're going to get into it in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I'll break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know the Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.
Look, the motivation is really understandable. I mean, you have rising ad costs. There's a lot of costs that for a real store, one that is actually promoting itself, there are costs of doing that. And those costs are going up. There is no secret. Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, all of these ads rates are slowly climbing. They're going up. So I understand the motivation for using tools, AI tools, to help you narrow the focus to buyers as opposed to people who you just want to get your name out there. It's very expensive if that's your method. And the margins on these, we have beaten one another to the bottom. The margins are very slim on a lot of the things that you see for sale, a lot of the stores that are online. Because everyone is super discount heavy. They just want to give everybody a discount. So that drives margins way down. That's why I say don't do it. And then you add on top of that labor is becoming more and more and more expensive, especially in the US. If you're running a US store, you're having to do one of two things. You're either having to put on more hats and hire fewer people, or you are really coming out of pocket for the help that you are receiving. People are salaries are rising in the U.S., and it's very tough to do that. So labor is very expensive here. And then I see a lot of people that come to me and they offer their business for sale, or they ask about, hey, how can I sell my business? They're just burned out, frankly. I have to talk them off the ledge a lot more than I used to, because they lose the love. Once you've been beaten like that, you do lose the love a little bit for why you lose the purpose behind why you started the business to begin with all of those pressures. AI promises that you're going to need fewer employees, right? The cost of that is going to come down. Your operations are going to be very much faster. You're going to streamline the processes that you've already built. That's another promise. That you'll have 24/7 customer support. And anybody that has had a store and has tried to watch a movie with their wife, and your phone is constantly buzzing you that people are trying to ask questions about products that you sell in your store, knows that that's really one of the things that's the hardest to do. The logistics, the mailing, the all shipping, all of that, those much easier than the customer support that people demand and should demand. And then it also promises hands-off scaling. In other words, you're going to grow and you're not going to have any input in that. You're not going to have to guide your business or find monetization strategies that are going to help your business grow. And Shopify is no innocent bystander in this. They're very motivated by selling apps on the Shopify store, the Shopify platform. They're very motivated to sell you an app that is going to aid in doing this. And with a one-click app install, it's probably the only real one-click thing on the planet, as a matter of fact, is the app install. One click, they get their $30 a month, $40 a month, and you get an AI helper, quote unquote helper, that really isn't tailored to your business, does not match up, and you have to shoehorn your business into that helper. So the motivation, I totally get. AI is baked into Shopify admin too, by the way. So if you're on the Shopify platform, you couldn't get away from artificial intelligence if you wanted to. And the App Store right now is flooded, and I mean flooded, with automation apps and their promises. They are going to promise you the moon with some of these apps. And we're going to do in the future, we're going to do a review of some of these apps. And I'm going to go for the ones that you need to stay away from. I don't give a crap. It is to that point. I could go and do a nice fluff piece about which apps are better and which ones you should use. I'm not going that direction. I'm going to go after the throat of people that are putting out absolute crap. The psychological pull from all this is very strong, and I get it. Because you feel like if I don't adopt this right now, I'm going to fall behind, or I'm missing out. FOMO. I'm missing out on all of these. I've got all these problems, and AI can solve them, and I'm missing out if I don't. By the way, it's $30 a month. But listen, a little bit here, a little bit there adds up to real money. And I will say this, that speed without strategy is a great way to collapse your store completely. And it won't be, it'll go out with a squeak. It won't go out with a boom. That's the dangerous part. It doesn't explode. It kind of implodes with a whimper. Not good. Now look, I want to be very, very clear that I'm going to be fair about this. There are things that AI does that is of real value in specific areas. I don't want anyone thinking just because, oh yeah, it's the Doomsday Minute guy. I don't want anyone thinking that I am totally against artificial intelligence. I am not. I use it for this show. I use it for my stores. Some of the things that it's good for is customer support triage. Letting people know what the status of their order is, their shipping questions. It can answer shipping questions extremely well. It's not so good with product questions, but shipping questions, AI is, I've never had really any problem. It's actually pretty good about that. It can handle returns for you in a basic way extremely well. It can make a decision on whether or not this customer purchased something, and it's okay to give them a return on that thing. And it's also good for, if you program it correctly, basic, very basic, frequently asked questions handling. It is not good for specific product questions, which is really kind of where a lot of people need the help, because you have a ton of products in your store and you are not an expert on every single one of those products. This is good for the basic, frequently asked questions. You can set up an AI that will absolutely help you with that. And the result of all of this is a reduced ticket volume, but you cannot eliminate your support staff and expect to prosper, expect to survive over the long term. It doesn't work that way. You need to have humans that are answering some of the more complicated questions, handling customer service, the more complicated things there. It's also good with inventory forecasting and demand signal. It's incredibly good at that. AI has a very good pattern recognition that humans miss. It can suss out a pattern from all of this information that would just blow by 99.9% of us. It just does that well. And it can also detect patterns and seasonal trends. The seasonal trend detection on some of these AI tools is fantastic, and you can get really, really, really good results from it. Down to the SKU level of forecasting, something that I've never seen a human be able to do. So it not we didn't lose that skill. Humans never had that skill to that level, and now we can apply a skill from artificial intelligence. I'm talking about down to the individual SKU, and that, yeah. So there you go. The SKU level forecasting is actually a pretty good way of using AI. And here's a reality check: AI highlights issues that humans still decide what to do about that. So if you're using AI to highlight an issue that you yourself are going to take care of, you're using artificial intelligence correctly. However, if you are using AI to make those decisions for you, not a good place to be. Email and messaging optimization. Your send time optimization, using AI to keep all of that under control. Very proper, very good use of AI. If your AI is writing email or emailing back, communicating back, not a good thing to use. If you're using it for subject line testing, though, so in other words, if you are doing A/B testing and you want to keep that organized and you want some help from artificial intelligence to create new subject lines, hey, fair, man. That is actually a very good way of using artificial intelligence. It's a good way of using this. And then also abandoned cart recovery. For some reason, artificial intelligence is actually very good at recovery of those abandoned carts, knowing when to go in, talk to your customer, send them, or know when they need to hear a message from you that they come back and purchase. AI will improve your execution, but it does not replace your strategy or your brand voice. And if you find it starting to slip in and do that, run like a scalded dog. It's just not good at doing that. Probably will never be good at doing that. So here's where my big problem comes in. Okay, here's where I think all those viral videos kind of go quiet. They go silent. They don't talk about app stack inflation. In other words, you're spending $29 here, $79 there, $199 for advanced AI, whatever the heck that means, right? All of a sudden, you look at the back end of your store and your tech stack costs more than your payroll used to. Having a human being doing these jobs that you've got now looks attractive because it costs less. And each app, depending on another app to do their job, listen, that is that's forced obsolescence. That is just as bad as forced obsolescence. Each app should not depend on another app to do what it is supposed to do. And if one update breaks 3 new automation that you put in, that's another sign that, hey, you need to knock it off, man. This is not how to solve this particular issue. The false confidence you get from these dashboards is insane. I talked to somebody this week. The AI tools make the results look very impressive. Unless you dig in, just scratch the surface on the graphs or the predictions or all these green and red yellow arrows pointing up and down and stuff. It buries you in these visuals that you feel like you've got a handle on, but you don't. And you don't actually know how the big picture, you don't get a chance to see it from a 30,000 foot level. In many of these tools are correlation, not causation. They are, in other words, they don't cause what it is. It just so happens to be true. That your people are buying from this particular group, but that's not the reason that your profits have diminished. AI also has a tendency, many of these apps have a tendency to optimize only the vanity metrics, meaning bounce rate, or they're not there to, you say to the app company, hey, we had far less sales last month using your app. They say, yeah, but your bounce rate reduced by 45% and your traffic increased by, dude, if I had a nickel for every time somebody told me how much this app increased my traffic, well, listen, bud, if you can increase my traffic to 1 billion people a day on my website, if they're not buying anything, you've done me a disservice, not a service. And by my worrying about that, you're actually masking the underlying conversion problem that I have. You are hiding from me why these people are not purchasing, yet they're still coming up. They're drawn to my website for some reason. That doesn't mean that they offer any sales, that they offer me any money. The brand damage that comes from that, AI just does not understand. Sometimes it's through, humorous or attempts to be humorous. Sometimes it's a tone shift. You're trying to have a serious brand and it just doesn't fit. Something isn't meshing with the rest of the website. You've got this tone shift that people don't understand, starts to get muddled and confused. And with a lot of, I'm noticing with a lot of cultural stores that sell to a particular culture, to a street or to African American, there's a nuance there that AI cannot replicate. And it also does not ever really tell you when not to respond to an issue. And look, the results from that are very bad because you start to sound robotic in your customer interactions. You start to have inappropriate replies to people's questions, and you do not see in your analytics a loss of trust. There's only a few places in your analytics that would even show up. One of those places, unfortunately, is in conversions. But you see it you don't know where that loss of conversion comes from. And that is a very bad place to be. We are measuring so many things in our stores for the simple fact to increase only one thing. There's nothing you are measuring in your store that isn't measured to increase one thing, and that's conversion, sales. That's all. No problem in your store cannot be solved by more sales. Now, look, nothing about this upsets me more. The number one thing that it upsets me is the big lie that you can just add my app, set it, and forget it. We're going to do the work for you. It's absolutely not true. There is no AI automation that removes work, that makes you not responsible for the work. Now, what it does do is change the type of work that you are doing: monitoring, auditing, prompt tuning, escalation handling, fail-safe design. That type of thing is now what you're doing. If you are automating your stores, you are exchanging one type of work for another type of work. And founders of companies do not become hands off, they become robot system managers. That's really, you go from managing people to now managing technology. And some people are woefully, they cannot do that. They're much better people managers than they are, systems managers. And stores that do not adapt to this lose control. They miss all the edge cases, the cases that don't just quite fit in the middle, and they discover the problems only after their revenue drops. In other words, there's no forecasting. You cannot see before you get slapped in the face with it. You see the disease, you never see the symptoms. You only see the disease. That's a better way of putting it. Okay. What's the right way to use this technology? We hear you whining and crying about this. What do we do? What is the right way to use AI on Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, anything? Here's the way I look at this. I thought about this a long time, and here's what I was thinking. I want you to start automating tasks, but never automate decisions. Decisions you continue to make, okay? I want you to use artificial intelligence to surface patterns, to find out what the patterns are. We're horrible at figuring out these patterns. That's good. AI is very good at figuring that out. I want you to reduce your repetitive labor. Things that you are constantly having to do over and over and over again. Find a way to automate that. And I want you to figure out artificial intelligence, or engage with artificial intelligence that will actually assist human judgment. So if you have employees that are making decisions, I want you to give them tools to help assist them in their human judgment. In other words, you do not apply any customer service artificial intelligence. Give them the tools to find answers quicker and to make those decisions faster and more accurately. Do not use artificial intelligence to set pricing autonomously. It is horrible. You will turn your lights off with artificial intelligence being used that way. It's horrible at it. I don't want you to use artificial intelligence to handle any type of sensitive material or support. Very bad way of using artificial intelligence. And I don't want you to use artificial intelligence to replace any brand storytelling. Do not leave it to AI to tell a human story. Number one, it hallucinates the crap out of stuff. It gives false information, and the tone is never right. And do not allow AI anywhere near irreversible decisions. There are many irreversible decisions that someone can come up with in their business, and AI has absolutely no place anywhere near that. It should be radioactive. AI should be more of a co-pilot, not the pilot. You are 100% responsible for the decisions that you make in your business, and you do not need Grok or Chat GPT, Claude, none of them. Perplexity. I mean, some of these silly names, you do not want them anywhere near your decisions like that. Just to, for my free 2 cents. All right, real quick, let's talk about the way Shopify stores win. The winning ones, the winning Shopify stores, they're not the ones that are the most automated. They're not the ones that are the most app heavy. In other words, you go to a Shopify store that is killing it, you are not going to find dozens and dozens of things that artificial intelligence has its fingers in. You are also not going to find those winning stores as the ones that are the earliest adopters. Generally, they are the ones that are winning are kind of the ones that hang back a little bit and figure out what's going to benefit them the most. I'm going to watch you crash into that wall. And so now I know, okay, that's a bad example. Or, hey, look, Charlie just applied this to his shoe business. Maybe this will work for my hat store. The ones that win, the Shopify stores, the e-commerce stores that win, they understand their numbers. That goes with, I don't want to say it goes without saying because I just said it, but if you understand your numbers and you continue to understand your numbers, good things happen because you have to take action on those things that you know. But if you know your numbers and you take action on what you know, good things will happen. Also, they know their customer. They've used these tools as a way of enhancing that conversation. They still know who their customer is and why, and where to find more of them. They use AI as leverage, but not a crutch. They do not use AI as a crutch. It's more of a, we're going to pry this open with using the tool, but we're not going to rely on it every single day. AI absolutely will not save a broken business with broken systems. It does, however, very loudly amplify a disciplined company, a disciplined store. It 100% does lift up and really broadcast those stores that use it appropriately. It is a powerful, powerful tool. Okay, before you install another AI app, I want you to pause. Please do an audit of your processes. Fix all your fundamentals. Go back to the basics. Every single time you try to solve a problem with an AI app, I want you to do this little simple process. I want you to think of AI as an acceleration of what already works. In other words, we are going to study, look around, study our process, fix the process, make sure that process works, then slap the AI on top of that and make it accelerate what already works. AI automation is not magic. You are not plugging something into your business and voila, everything is working great. The processes get fixed. No. This is math. It's systems and discipline. It is not some weird concoction or some weird algorithm that's going to pull you out. It's not the Wizard of Oz, dude. It's not. It's just not. The future of e-commerce, Shopify, BigCommerce or WooCommerce, the future of e-commerce is not fully automated or fully automated stores. No, it's intelligently assisted operators who understand their numbers, they respect their customers, and they refuse to hand the keys to some algorithm that they never then monitor. You're not going to be successful if you do that. And if this episode saved you any money, stress, or a future headache, do me a favor. I want you to high five the like button, because teamwork makes the algorithm work. I want you to subscribe to this podcast, Straight Talk Commerce Podcast. I want you to drop a comment with your experience or your opinion about artificial intelligence when it comes to e-commerce. And I want you to share this episode with somebody that you know about to click install app on their store, and they have absolutely no plan whatsoever. Because if somebody tells you that AI runs their store while they sleep, I want you to check their refund rate, because they're knucklehead. That's absolutely ridiculous. But that's all I got for you. I want you to go out. I want you to freaking kill it. I want you to be extraordinarily profitable in 2026. And I think next week we're going to do a best of show. But until then, I love you.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We cracked the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting the know. Wayne Altman, let's start the show.